Travels with Lucky here. We are heading up to Montana's smallest state park. It's up in the Elkhorn Mountains, just south of Boulder, about 22 miles, 18 miles, up some dirt roads. And the state park consists of two buildings from the Elkhorn ghost town. But there are lots of other interesting buildings, and you can see the remnants of the mining. And then we're going to head all the way up to the old cemetery. Now that's an old powder house. They would store the dynamite far away from the main things, and I don't know what this is, but apparently kids are having fun riding their four-wheels. There you can see remnants of some old buildings. Quite a lot of that going on up there. It's been about 20 years since I was up this old cemetery, and I found it fascinating when I was up there before. The road is not that great going up there. There you can look down on the town right there from on your way up to the cemetery, which is way up on the top of the mountain. I don't know why they put the cemetery way up there. But the sad thing about the cemetery is that there are probably more children's graves than anything, because I think it was like in 1888, there's diphtheria that went through and lots of children died. So we're up here in the middle of the Elkhorn Mountains, and we just passed Elkhorn ghost town, and now we're heading up to the cemetery. It might be one of the oldest cemeteries in Montana. Let's see what we can find out about it. Oh, so it says this cemetery is recognized for its children's graves from the epidemic of 1888. Probably doesn't show too well on the video, but it's a pretty steep grade coming up here. Kind of dark and eerie, actually. Look at how thick the trees are in there. That's a more recent grave. Oh, it looks just like it's a new tombstone. 1859 to 1919. 80 years old. He was the postmaster. There's Lucky, checking things out. And there's where we parked down there. So there are 4 grave sites in here. I think it was like 20 some years ago that I was last up here, and there's a lot more of the ornate fencing around the grave sites. So it looks a little different. Kind of makes me wonder too if people took headstones, because why are all these wooden ones here? It just looks different because they tried to salvage some things. Anyway, we'll just keep walking around a little bit. "4 years, 17 days. Lewis Ketchum. "16 years, 11 months. So they're replacing all this fencing around here. So yeah, I don't know what happened to all that wrought iron. That usually wouldn't look like that. It had more fancy iron gates around these. That's just weird. So now here's an example of what the iron fencing used to look like all around most of these grave sites. Somebody must have ransacked it or something, because it sure looks different from what I remember. So that's pretty sad. Who would do such a thing? Okay, well, there's my ride waiting patiently. Well, here are definitely some remnants of days gone by. That was a bee around me. So now as I walked down, I took some pictures from above showing you some parts of the old town. Okay, supposedly up here is the Northern Pacific water tank. Hard to imagine that the railroad came all the way up here. Oh yeah, there we go. Let's see. Let's go check that out. Wow. Who'd ever think? So they restored it in 2017. Well, that's kind of interesting. I guess if you wanted to read about it, you could stop the video right here and read about the restoration. And then here's some information. All right, so that was put up in 1914. So there was a 22-mile branch line to Elkhorn up here from Boulder. Boulder is just down the hill. I guess you probably know that. So here I'll get a this is huge. Yeah, there. I'll walk up to it, see how big it really is. And there's some interesting items about this water tank. Yeah, so there you can see the binders from Northern Pacific Railroad holding that together. On there they just tacked them, or you can see how they held the metal together. See if I can zoom in a bit. There we go. Wow. Okay, so this was the mine manager's house, and it burned in 20, let's see, okay, the fire took the house in 2001. It was one of the few houses that had the brick or rock and mortar foundation. Wow, you can see the destruction. Pretty quiet up here right now. It's late September. Kind of interesting because this is obviously a ghost town, but yet there are few people who live up here full time. There's a ranch family that's been here forever. I believe they're still up here. There you can see the mining up there. What's left of what was going on. I think they were still mining in here well into the 1970s, actually. There's a big piece of equipment. I'm sure somebody knows what that is. You could let us know in the comments. I don't know a lot about mining. Yeah, if you ever wanted to come up here, there is a lot of information in the boards, signboards. Not a lot left. After the fire, though, it's amazing there's anything here. That must have been where the mill was. So the water tower, which I was just showing you, was actually, it's just back up, up in that area. So all throughout the town they have signs of the buildings that once existed there. And this is about all you have left. And a lot of this is private property, and some of it is state park. So it's a mixture. So up ahead here, this area where those two buildings were to the left, that is the state park, the smallest state park in Montana. It's just composed of that little area there where it's grassy, and those two buildings are left. I think one was like the dance hall, and the other, can't remember, BFW building or something like that. So that's kind of cool that those remain. So that's the state park area right there. Butcher shops. Okay, that about wraps up our adventure up in the Elkhorn Mountains at Elkhorn Ghost Town and the cemetery. Next, we're going to take you down to the fairgrounds, Jefferson County Fairgrounds. It's getting dark, so we will do that in an upcoming video. It's a very cool place with great buildings. Thanks for watching Travels with Lucky. I hope you like this kind of a video and consider subscribing and liking and giving us any comments.